Listen, I want you to picture something. A Friday afternoon in April of 2026. A kitchen table in a split-level house in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Her name is Margaret. She is 64 years old. She has been married to the same man for 41 years. His name is James. James is 68. He worked 36 years as a petrochemical plant supervisor along the Mississippi River corridor. He collects Social Security of $3,640 per month, $43,680 per year. He maxed his 401k for the last 22 years of his career. He has $890,000 in a traditional IRA now. He collects Social Security of $3,640 per month, $43,680 per year, because he claimed at 67, 1 year past his full retirement age. He is healthy. He expects to live another 15 to 20 years. Margaret never worked outside the home. She raised 3 children. She managed the household finances for 4 decades. She was the operational backbone of the family for 41 years. She has 0 quarters of Social Security coverage. Not a low benefit. 0. The Social Security Administration has no earnings record for Margaret whatsoever because she never earned wages subject to FICA taxation. Margaret has never thought about this as a problem because James is healthy and James is here. And James's $3,640 per month feels like a household income, not a personal income. On a Thursday evening in March of 2026, James sits down at the dining room table and cannot finish his sentence. The stroke is massive. He is in the ICU by 9 o'clock that night. He dies on a Tuesday morning. Margaret is now 64 years old. She has no Social Security record. She has no pension. She has no earned income. She has no job history to return to after 4 decades away from the workforce. She has the IRA, which is now hers as the surviving spouse, and she has the house, and she has a small joint savings account with $34,000. But the $3,640 per month that James received every month since he claimed, the income that felt as permanent and structural as the mortgage payment and the utility bill and the grocery budget, that income has stopped forever. Because Social Security is a personal benefit, it is tied to the earnings record of the individual who earned it. When that individual dies, the benefit dies with them. The surviving spouse does not inherit the deceased spouse's full Social Security benefit. The surviving spouse receives a survivor benefit. And the survivor benefit, while it provides some protection, is calculated differently, subject to different rules, limited by different factors, and delivers a materially different income than the benefit Margaret assumed she would receive. When she sat at the dining room table and did the retirement math in her head every year for the past decade, Margaret assumed she would receive James's full $3,640 per month when he died. She will not. She will receive the survivor benefit, which is the larger of her own benefit and 100% of James's benefit, less any applicable reductions. Since Margaret has 0 earnings record, her own benefit is 0. The survivor benefit she receives is 100% of James's benefit, which sounds like the full $3,640. But here is what changes. The survivor benefit is based on what James was actually receiving at the time of his death, after any reductions that applied to his claiming age. James claimed at 67. His primary insurance amount, the benefit he would have received at his full retirement age of 67, was $3,640. His primary insurance amount, the benefit he would have received at his full retirement age of 67, was $3,640. Margaret's survivor benefit is $3,640 per month. That sounds adequate. Now look at what it actually costs Margaret to replace the household income that existed before James died. Before the stroke, the household received $3,640 from James's Social Security, plus whatever the IRA distributions provided. The household had 2 Social Security benefits flowing through. After James dies, the household receives one benefit, the survivor benefit, and nothing else from Social Security. The spousal benefit that Margaret would have received while James was alive, which is up to 50% of James's primary insurance amount, was never claimed because James was alive and receiving his own benefit. That spousal benefit ends at James's death and is replaced by the survivor benefit. The net reduction in household Social Security income at James's death is not 0. It is the loss of the second benefit stream that would have been available if Margaret had qualified for her own benefit, or had been receiving the spousal benefit separately. This is the 0 benefit trap. Not that Margaret received 0. The trap is that the household income structure that Margaret built her financial expectations on for 4 decades was entirely dependent on one person's Social Security record, and that one person is gone. and the income architecture that remains is leaner, more fragile, and more vulnerable to the tax interactions and healthcare costs and long-term care expenses of the decades ahead than the household income that existed before the Thursday evening. When James sat down at the dining room table and could not finish his sentence. Smash the like button right now. The Social Security Administration publishes the rules for spousal and survivor benefits in plain language on its website. What it does not do is proactively identify the couples where one spouse has zero earnings history and model the income cliff that occurs when the higher earning spouse dies first. The financial planning industry does not proactively surface this analysis because it requires a planning conversation about mortality that clients prefer to avoid, and that advisors have limited financial incentive to initiate. Every like on this video puts this analysis in front of one more couple where both spouses are still alive and the configuration can still be changed. Hit it, subscribe, flip the bell, join the archive. The suits and legal want me to say this is not financial advice. Fine. This is not financial advice. This is a forensic examination of how Social Security survivor benefits interact with a zero-earning spouse in the context of retirement income planning. Consult a Social Security claiming specialist and a fee-only fiduciary. What I can do is show you the mechanics. Let me start with the statutory foundation. Because the survivor benefit rules are more complex than most people understand. And the complexity matters because the specific numbers, the percentages, the age reductions, the earnings test interactions determine exactly how much income Margaret receives and how far it falls short of what the household needed. Social Security survivor benefits are governed by Title II of the Social Security Act. When a worker who has earned Social Security credits dies, their surviving spouse is entitled to a survivor benefit subject to the following rules. The surviving spouse may claim the survivor benefit as early as age 60, subject to a permanent reduction for early claiming. The unreduced survivor benefit is available at the surviving spouse's full retirement age, which for Margaret, born in 1962, is 67. The survivor benefit amount is based on the deceased worker's primary insurance amount, the benefit the worker was receiving or entitled to at full retirement age, adjusted for any delayed retirement credits if the worker had accrued them. If the deceased worker claimed before their own full retirement age, the survivor benefit is calculated based on what the deceased was actually receiving, rather than the full PIA in some circumstances, subject to specific floor provisions. And if the surviving spouse has their own Social Security record, they can claim the survivor benefit and later switch to their own retirement benefit, or claim their own retirement benefit first and later switch to the survivor benefit, whichever produces the higher combined outcome over their lifetime. Margaret has zero earnings record. She cannot switch to her own retirement benefit because there is no benefit to switch to. She is entirely dependent on the survivor benefit from James's record for any Social Security income she receives for the rest of her life. Now let me model the three specific income failure scenarios that the zero benefit spouse faces after the higher earning spouse dies. Scenario 1, the early survivor benefit reduction. Margaret is 64 when James dies. She needs income immediately. The house has carrying costs. The utilities are the same. The property taxes are the same. The health insurance, which was coming through James's employer retiree coverage, terminated at his death. And Margaret now needs individual coverage through the ACA marketplace or through Medicare, which she cannot access until age 65. Margaret can claim the survivor benefit at 64, but early claiming produces a permanent reduction. The survivor benefit at age 60 is reduced to 71.5% of the deceased worker's benefit. At full retirement age of 67, it is 100%. Between 60 and 67, the reduction is prorated. Margaret, claiming at 64, receives approximately 82.9% of the full survivor benefit. On James's $3,640 per month benefit, Margaret's reduced survivor benefit at age 64 is approximately $3,016 per month. $36,192 per year. The permanent reduction is $624 per month, $7,488 per year. The permanent reduction is $624 per month, $7,488 per year. Over a 25-year retirement, if Margaret lives to 89, the cumulative cost of the early claiming reduction is $187,200. That is the dollar cost of needing income at 64 because the household had no second income source, no spousal benefit in payment, and no alternative income stream sufficient to cover expenses during the 3 years between James's death and Margaret's full retirement age of 67. The early claiming reduction is permanent it never recovers. Every Social Security check Margaret receives for the rest of her life reflects the 82.9% factor applied at age 64. Scenario 2. The Medicare gap. James died in March of 2026. Margaret is 64. She cannot access Medicare until age 65. Now let me give you the geographic dimension, because the survivor benefit and the zero-earning spouse's income architecture interact differently with state tax law depending on where the household is located. In Louisiana, where Margaret lives, Social Security benefits are exempt from Louisiana state income tax under the Louisiana Revenue Information Bulletin. The ACA marketplace coverage available to Margaret in Louisiana for a 64-year-old non-smoking female is approximately $1,400 per month before any premium tax credits, which phase out at income levels that the IRA distributions will push Margaret above in most years. Her net monthly health insurance cost is approximately $800 to $1,100 per month during the 11 months before she turns 65. That is $8,800 to $12,100 of health insurance cost in the gap year that was not in the household budget when James was alive, because James's retiree health coverage was covering both of them. The Medicare gap creates an immediate cash flow problem that forces Margaret to take IRA distributions earlier than planned, at higher amounts than planned, generating ordinary income that enters the provisional income calculation when she eventually begins receiving the survivor benefit, potentially pushing her above the Social Security taxation thresholds faster than a household with two benefits would have crossed them. Scenario 3. The long-term income shortfall from a zero-earning spouse with no alternative income architecture. This is the scenario that plays out over decades rather than months. Margaret has the survivor benefit of $3,016 per month after early claiming $36,192 per year. She has the traditional IRA, now hers as surviving spouse, with $890,000 in it. She has the house. She has the $34,000 in savings. She has no pension. She has no other income source. The $36,192 survivor benefit sounds substantial in isolation. In the context of a single person's expenses in 2026, it is approximately $3,016 per month to cover housing costs, even with the mortgage paid off, property taxes, utilities, food, transportation, healthcare premiums and out-of-pocket costs, personal expenses, and any long-term care needs that emerge in the decades ahead. The Fidelity Retiree Healthcare Cost Estimate places total out-of-pocket healthcare costs for a single 65-year-old woman at approximately $165,000 over retirement. That figure does not include long-term care. The median cost of a private room in a nursing home in Louisiana in 2026 is approximately $7,800 per month. 7 out of 10 Americans who reach 65 will need some form of long-term care before they die. The average duration of nursing home care is 2.5 years. The average total cost of nursing home care at Louisiana rates is approximately $234,000. Margaret's survivor benefit of $36,192 per year does not cover her basic living expenses plus healthcare costs, plus any long-term care needs over a 25-year retirement. The IRA must fund the gap. And the IRA, funded by traditional pre-tax contributions during James's career, generates ordinary income on every distribution. Every dollar Margaret pulls from the IRA to supplement the survivor benefit enters the provisional income calculation and begins cascading Social Security into the taxable column. At lower IRA withdrawal levels, the provisional income stays below the taxation thresholds. As the withdrawals increase to cover healthcare costs and long-term care, the provisional income crosses the threshold and the phantom multiplier activates. The zero-earning spouse faces the full complexity of the provisional income machine with a single Social Security benefit rather than two, a single income record rather than two, and a single set of options for Social Security optimization, rather than the coordinated claiming strategies available to couples where both spouses have earnings history. The planning that prevents the cliff is available while both spouses are alive. The planning that manages the cliff is available after the first spouse dies. The planning that closes the file is the probate court 4 months later. Build the plan while both spouses are still at the kitchen table. I will see you in the next one. Stay strategic. Stay furious. The zero benefit trap was designed by a system that credits earnings records and not caregiving records. You cannot change the system. You can change the plan.